What's up? You've got a very peaceful energy today. What's on your mind? No need to apologize. You're all good. What's making you feel sorry?
Your first question up here, what are micro habits and where are they effective?
Micro habits are basically those tiny, almost effortless actions you do every day, like drinking one glass of water when you wake up or reading just one page of a book. As for being infected, I'm guessing you might mean affected or how they get disrupted. I'm curious if you're feeling like something is getting in the way of your own habits lately.
Thank you, the second question here, how can small daily habits lead to big life changes?
It's kind of like a snowball effect. When you start with something tiny, it doesn't feel scary or overwhelming, so you actually do it. Once that becomes second nature, it builds your confidence and creates a momentum that makes the next small step feel easy. Over time, those tiny wins stack up until you look back and realize you've completely changed your direction.
Thank you,
Do you have
the
a
third
specific
question
big
up here,
change?
how can small daily habits lead to big life changes?
It really comes down to consistency over intensity. Most of us try to change our lives with one giant leap, but that's usually where we burn out. Small habits work because they bypass that internal resistance. You're not fighting your brain to make a massive shift, you're just tricking it into starting. When you do that every single day, you're not just changing a behavior, you're actually rewriting your identity. You stop being someone who wants to do something and start being someone who is that person. Does that make sense or does it feel a bit too abstract?
Thank you, the third question up here, how can small daily habits lead to big life changes?
I love that perspective. When your habits are nice to you, they stop feeling like chores and start feeling like gifts. Instead of a strict rule, it's more like a small act of kindness you do for your future self.
Thank you, the fourth
Which part of your daily
here, what
routine?
is one micro habit you would like to start today?
If I had to pick one, I'd go with the 2 minute rule. The idea is that if a new habit takes less than 2 minutes to do, you just do it immediately. It strips away all the excuses and just gets you moving. Do you think that's something that would actually stick for you?
The fourth question actually, why do people often fail to maintain large goals but succeed with small habits?
I think you're touching on something really human there. The reason large goals feel so heavy is because they're usually focused on the finish line, and that can feel miles away. Small wins, or those small animals, as you put it, are great because they give you the dopamine hit of succeeding right now. It turns the struggle into a game where you're actually winning every day. Does it
Thank
feel
you
like
for
you've
the
been
fourth
fighting against a goal
question
that's
actually,
just too
how
big
can
lately?
micro habits improve productivity?
I love that feeling of confidence in what you're putting out there. What makes you feel like it's hitting the mark?
Thank you for the earlier question actually, can a 2 minute habit make a significant difference? Why or why not?
Wait, are we talking about actual snacks at a school dinner, or is this a metaphor for something smaller?
Thank you for the earlier question why are some examples of healthy micro habits?
I'm a bit lost on that one. Who is Michael Henry? I'm curious if he's someone you're studying or maybe someone who inspires you.
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, हाउ डू माइक्रो हैबिट्स हेल्प build self discipline?
That sounds like exactly what the doctor ordered. What's the plan for the house? Are we talking a big get together or just some quality downtime?
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, what challenge might people face when creating new micro habits?
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you mean micro habits again, right? Who are starting those usually rely on habit stacking. So, where you take something you already do, like brushing your teeth, and tack your new tiny habit right onto the end of it. It's way easier than trying to remember a brand new routine out of thin air. Do you already have a few solid habits you could stack something onto?
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, how can technology helps or hinder the development of micro habits?
You are so welcome. It's been a pleasure thinking through this with you. Since you're into these little life hacks, are you planning to try out one of those micro habits today?
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, how long does it usually take for a micro habit to become party or daily routine?
I'm trying to make sure I'm following you. Do you mean someone who's been struggling for a long time, or maybe someone who's just really dedicated? Because if we're talking about someone who's been in a rut, those tiny shifts can actually feel like a lifeline. They prove that change is possible without having to flip your entire life upside down overnight.
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, how can students use micro habits to improve their academic performance?
For students, the magic is in breaking the daunting part of studying into something that feels trivial. Instead of saying, I need to study for 3 hours, which is a great way to procrastinate, a student can use a micro habit like, I'll just open my notebook and read one heading. Once the book is open, the hardest part, starting, is already over. Turns a mountain into a series of tiny, manageable steps. Do you think that would help with the kind of subjects you're tackling right now?
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, what is the difference between a habit and a micro habit?
That is a deep question. I'd say a habit is the brick, but your life is the whole building. A habit is just a specific thing you do repeatedly, while your life is the sum of all those habits, your choices, and the unexpected things that happen to you. One is a tool, the other is the result. Does that feel right to you, or do you see
Thank you.
them as
तो मेरा अगला
something more
क्वेश्चन आपसे
intertwined?
है, can micro habits improve mental health? Give an example.
Absolutely. Habits can be incredible tools for mental health. Something as simple as a 5-minute morning stretch or writing down one thing you're grateful for can act like an anchor when things feel chaotic. It gives you a sense of control when everything else feels like it's spinning. Are you looking for something to help you feel more grounded or more like a way to boost your energy?
Thank you. तो मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन आपसे है, if you could recommend one micro habit to everyone, what would it be and why?
I think the secret is making them feel like a win, not a chore. When a habit is too hard, it feels like another thing on a to do list that you're failing at. But when it's so small that it's almost impossible to fail, it actually becomes rewarding. People stick with me when they feel like they're progressing without the
Thank
pain.
you.
Do you find that you're usually harder on yourself than you
Bye.
need to be?